All right, let's talk about ACL rehab, but we're going to flip the script on it. Today, we're diving into why those middle weeks, weeks 6 to 12, are so incredibly important. And we'll show you how a simple shift in mindset, from thinking like a patient to training like an athlete, can change everything. Let's get into it. So, here's the game plan. First, we're going to expose a huge mistake that so many people make that just stalls their recovery. Then, we'll completely redefine what strength actually means in this context. After that, we'll look at how to measure what really matters, and finally, I'm going to give you a clear, actionable blueprint to build back stronger. Okay, let's kick things off with what I call the mid-rehab mistake. This is that critical period where so many athletes just get stuck. It's where this huge, dangerous gap opens up between what you do in the clinic and what you need to do on the field. So let's break down why this happens. This quote from strength coach Tim Rollins just hits the nail on the head. Think about it. If you're 3 months out from surgery and your rehab still just looks like light bands and wobbly balance drills, you are not being prepared to return to sport, period. It should look and feel like a real training session. And this really boils down to 4 common failures. First up, only working in the mid-range of motion, which just doesn't prepare the knee for deep flexion. Second, this, fear of loading the quads. It's a massive mistake. Third, pretty much forgetting about the hamstrings, which are your knee's best friends for stability. And lastly, staying on those light therabands forever, which, let's be honest, stops building real strength pretty quick. So now that we've seen the problem, what's the solution? Well, it all starts with changing how we think about the word strength. It is so much more than just how much weight you can lift. It's about developing a whole spectrum of physical qualities. In fact, we're going to break strength down into 5 distinct trainable qualities. Every single one of these is a piece of the puzzle that helps you get back to your sport not just healed, but more powerful and more resilient than you were before. First up is the big one, maximal strength. This is simply your ability to produce the most force possible. Think of this as the foundation for everything else we're about to talk about. Getting this number up is going to be our main goal to get you out of this rehab phase. Next, we've got hypertrophy. After surgery, you lose a ton of muscle size. That's called atrophy. So a huge goal right now is just rebuilding that muscle, especially in your quads. We do that by creating the right kind of stress and volume to tell that muscle, hey, it's time to grow back. Now, this one is a game changer, rate of force development, or RFD. It's not just about how much force you can create, but how fast you can create it. This is absolutely critical for preventing that dreaded second injury, because even when your strength comes back, this ability to be explosive often lags way behind. Then there's muscular endurance. Can you keep producing force over and over without gassing out? If you play any kind of team sport, this is everything in the fourth quarter. It's not negotiable. And we train it with higher reps and smart conditioning. And finally, let's talk about unilateral stability. Look, it's not enough to just be strong on one leg. You have to be able to control it. This is where we learn that being equally strong side to side doesn't mean you have equal quality of movement. Control is key. Speaking of control, isometrics are an amazing tool, but the intent matters. There's a big difference between PEMA isometrics, where you're actively trying to push through something, and HIMA isometrics, where your goal is to hold and resist a force. The cue you use completely changes the adaptation you get. Okay, so we know what qualities of strength we need to build, but how do we actually know if we're making progress? It's time to move past the idea of a single all-or-nothing test day. We need to be consistently measuring what truly matters. So I want you to ask yourself this. That one test you did at the clinic last week, does it really tell the whole story of what you're capable of? Probably not, right? Your performance on any single day is just a snapshot in time. And making huge decisions based on that one snapshot can be really, really misleading. It really all comes down to the simple formula. Performance equals your fitness minus your fatigue. Things like a bad night's sleep, stress from work, or just a tough training week can totally mask your true strength. That's why we have to look at the trend over time, not just one data point. So, what's the solution? One of the best, simplest tools we have is the Limb Symmetry Index, or LSI. All it does is directly compare the performance of your operated leg to your non-operated leg. It gives us a super clear percentage that tells us exactly where you are in your recovery. And don't worry, the math is dead simple. Let's say your good leg can leg press 100 kilograms and your operated leg can press 85. You just divide 85 by 100, then multiply by 100.
Boom, your LSI is 85%. Easy.
And this is where it gets really useful. We can use a simple traffic light system. If your LSI is below 70%, that's the red zone. Not good enough. 70 to 79%, you're in the yellow, making good progress. And our big target to get out of this phase and move on is to hit that green zone, 80% or higher. It's a clear, objective goal to shoot for.
All right, time to put it all together. Let's take all these ideas, the 5 strength qualities, the LSI testing, and turn them into a practical, actionable strength blueprint. This is your roadmap for smarter, stronger comeback. For the quads, we follow a logical progression. We start safe with box squats to control depth, then move to the leg press to build raw strength. From there, we make it more functional with split squats, add tempo to own the control, and finally, once that LSI is above 80%, we earn the right to do full depth squats and targeted knee extensions. And for the hamstrings, it's the same idea, a purposeful journey. We start with stable RDLs, then challenge your balance and stability with the single leg version. We can use machine curls to isolate and build pure strength, and then we start building towards the gold standard of hamstring strength, the full Nordic curl. So let's end with this thought. Your rehab is not a passive waiting game. It is an active training process. Every single exercise, every single set should have a clear purpose. So the real question you need to ask yourself is this: are you actually building strength with purpose, or are you just passing time?